And we're back. I'm Dr. Yassir Sonbol. Let's dive right back into today's medical conversation. Welcome back to Real Medicine, Real Lives. Love what you're watching? Don't miss a moment of Real Medicine, Real Lives or any of your favorite Now Media TV shows, live or on demand, anytime, anywhere. Download the free Now Media TV app on your Roku iOS device and enjoy instant access to our full lineup of bilingual programming in both English and Spanish. Prefer to listen on the go? Catch the podcast version of the show right on Now Media TV website at www.nowmedia.tv. From business and breaking news to lifestyle, culture, and everything in between, Now Media TV is streaming 24/7, ready whenever you are. And so we're back now with Erika. We're going to talk about a really important topic. Erika Butler brings decades of HR leadership and experience to help organizations create healthier workplaces. So in this segment, we want to kind of address about something people rarely talk about, and it's workplace trauma. Erika, welcome back. So
Thank you for having me.
Clearly the problem is that harmful work experiences can leave people with lasting scars, and most people don't know how to process them or find help. So to start off, what kind of workplaces and experiences that you know of can leave scars, long-lasting scars on people?
Sure. So I'm just being super vulnerable here, but unfortunately, I have seen harassment happen still. I have seen discrimination happen. I have been aware of just belittling and even gossip, which might not seem like a big deal, but gossip can be a big deal in the workplace and really impact somebody. So those are a few things off the top of my head that impact someone's health and are not okay and not creating a safe place for people to work and thrive.
Yeah, and so, maybe we can elaborate on some of them a little bit. So what kind of gossip, for example, would you say is really harmful to people at the workplace? Is it about their personal lives? Maybe they shared something with a coworker and then it got out? Or is it usually work related? They're just not good employees, whatever it may be.
I think it's a couple things. So it's people speaking behind their back, but also a leader who speaks poorly about other people to you directly is
Yeah.
extremely uncomfortable, and that happens.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? And then if that leader's speaking badly about others in your team, what are they saying about you? It's just not a trustworthy, healthy feeling to work in an environment like that. Those are some examples.
Sure. And would that be more of a leader doing the conversation, or could that scarring even come just from a coworker having that conversation?
It can absolutely come from both, but in my opinion, it points back to leader and accountability. So when we are aware that stuff happens, it's absolutely not okay, and it needs to be addressed and held accountable in the workplace.
Great. And so how does workplace trauma affect health, both emotionally and physically?
Yeah, so when you see people coming to work every day, and this is the thing we work to fix, and they feel dread, they feel stressed, and they feel like they're coming to a place where they're not accepted, included, supported, they experience burnout. And I have unfortunately seen people to the point they have to take LOAs. They have to take a break from work because they're that unwell. They gain weight. They feel real burnout. As we all know to this point, it's a very real thing that we need to be keeping our tabs on and paying attention to prevent.
Yeah. I mean, we grow up in a world in which, we're told, to deal with our own problems, to figure out our own solutions, and so it comes to the next question and really, I run into this with my kids. I have a son who's 13 and a daughter who's 11, and there's times when they tell me things that happened at school and I'm like, well, did you tell your teacher? And they're like, no, I don't want to tattletale, or I don't want to get in trouble or whatever. So I think the same thing happens to us as adults when we're faced with these difficult situations at work, because you're really running the risk of, do I open and expose this and then it becomes a problem for me on the back end, because we clearly know that a company can do whatever they want to you and figure out some way to get rid of you if they felt like it. And so give us more insight into why more people don't take action when they're feeling harassed, gossiped, undervalued, et cetera, at work, and why they don't go to human resources and discuss it.
Well, Dr. Yassir, I think you hit the nail on the head already. There is a fear of what the retaliation will be, which is so unfortunate. But I think many individuals, they feel like there's a lot of power with the organization, with maybe their leader, if they're going to confront a problem that's happening, and they fear that what will happen if I lose my job? How will I support my family? I think fear, what I've seen, holds a lot of people back. And then unfortunately, because of things in the past, mistrust of maybe they didn't have a great HR person that broke their confidentiality. There's just broken trust that makes them feel like, what's the point of even speaking up about this? Nothing's going to happen, and I'm just going to get punished. To your point, that's very real.
Yeah. And so what words of encouragement or, advice do you give to people in that situation to say the fear of retaliation doesn't outweigh your mental health or your physical health and the impact that this can have on you long term?
Well, I would say first thing, don't underestimate your power as a person, a free person to share your honest feedback, and you should go for it. And if you are not heard, and that is probably not a company that's your fit. I think people get stuck after years of a certain maybe organization. And if they are mistreating you or you're being belittled or you're literally having your physical health impacted because of your job, there's many other organizations out there that will treat you better. I hope that organization will listen, give them the chance to listen and make the improvements. I'm sure you're not the only one that's having these issues, but I think I've been there. I felt like that earlier in my career that I'm like, well, this is my job. This is what I committed to. I'm stuck, but actually you're not. So I think recognizing that and go for it, give the feedback, try to resolve it with your leader. If not, go to HR, go to a senior manager and go for it. Worst case, then you go somewhere else. There's many other good opportunities. It's not worth sacrificing your health for that.
Yeah. And I think what people don't realize, I mean, when I was in med school, we all thought everybody was really smart, obviously, and everybody was doing so well and getting, straight A's in med school, although we didn't have an ABC system, but it was different. But, the reality is most of us just barely passed and we got through it, right, to become doctors. And that's the truth. They tell us that, you pass, you become a doctor. That's just the reality of it. But what we don't realize, and most of us didn't talk about grades, and I think it's the same thing what you're talking about here, is we don't know how many people are actually going through the same experience you are, and you think you're the only one. But the reality is if you break the silence, then it may get other people to follow. And you see that sometimes when people, finally file a complaint of harassment, for example, against some big CEO or whatever, and then all of a sudden, all these people come out of the woodwork and they're like, well, yeah, this has happened to me as well. So I think that brings me to how do you really drive people to say you're not alone, and you should really take a role, because not only are you helping yourself, but you may help other people in the future.
I do point back to leadership, because if they don't have surveys in place, focus groups, some of the stuff that I was able to uncover in my career, this kind of stuff, was because I sat and traveled and sat with the team members and asked them to their face, and I committed confidentiality and I meant it unless there was a safety issue. And then I stuck around and I heard their stories, and sometimes they were dealing with this for years and no one had asked them and no one had done that with them. So I actually think it is pointing back to leadership, creating a safe place for them to share, and ways to do it without their name attached. When their name is attached, there's a lot more fear involved, but if they can put it in a little box or an anonymous survey or a focus group with 9 others and speak to the person after confidentially, that gives them freedom and room to detach their name and their consequence and share honestly. So I think it's really important leaders are putting these practices in place to know what's really going on in the organization and address it.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because that brings us to the flip side then, is how do leaders and human resource people give their employees or give their coworkers an avenue to say, we are open to these kind of discussions and we want you to come to us when there's a problem, and we don't want you to hide it or feel like you're forced to deal with it?
You need to be very proactive about it. And unfortunately, because many people have been hurt in the workplace, it just is a fact. I have taken over several roles where they're coming to our office, my office, for an award, and they think they're getting in trouble. Like, that has happened. People are so nervous going to the HR office, which I truly hate about this profession, because I'm like, you're getting an award. That has happened. And why I say that is, I think as leaders in the town halls, and you have to be aggressive of letting people know we are a team. We're working together. This is a safe place for you. I want to hear what you really think. You're making us better. Your honesty and your feedback make us better. So don't hold back, and let's win as a team. And the more you can cultivate that, speak to it, show by example when they give the feedback, you address it, that is going to turn things around pretty quickly. And I've seen it happen.
Great. And can you give us maybe, an example of a story of somebody who you've dealt with that actually has been able to heal after workplace trauma? Maybe what they went through and the process they went through to heal.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so many I could share, but one individual comes to mind. And, younger in her career, she had a leader that just spoke poorly to her and felt like she even picked the wrong profession. And to the point she shared with me that there was months that she struggled to speak up in a meeting, and she was very talented, but because she had that leader for a season, she didn't have the guts to even speak up. And, I tried to encourage her. We gave her opportunities, and now she is a leader, astounding leader of many, and is just doing so well. And she literally told me, I don't think I'm in the right field. And just because that leader treated her so poorly, that was addressed. She had opportunities. It took her months to heal and speak up again and get her confidence back. But oh my gosh, I'm glad she stayed in the field because she's killing it.
That's awesome. That's really fantastic to hear. So Erika, for those people who are struggling with silence in the workplace and all these kind of issues that we've been talking about, how can they find you and connect with you to be able to maybe get some advice on what they should do in their situation?
Absolutely. So we have a website, GoHIHR.com. We'd love to hear comments, questions. We'll get back quickly. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. So you can reach us there. We also now have a show, Go Hire, on Now Media. So I know all of this is on the website and launching soon, but we'll also be with Now Media with our Go Hire show to encourage more people.
Great. All right, everybody, we're going to be right back. Up next, we're going to talk about resilience and how to stay strong in the times of change and uncertainty. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more real stories, real breakthroughs, and real lives transformed.